Hello, everyone, and welcome to Swag Her Media. I am Chris Natha DeRozier. I am a correspondent here, and I am excited. I am sitting down with a special guest today. So, as you join us, say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we want you to be as engaged as possible. Today, we have a best-selling author by the name of Ikisha Hugee, and we're just super excited because she's going to be sharing some amazing wisdom, some awesome gems, and part of her powerful testimony. So come in the room, be ready to be inspired, and I am excited for our guest today. And so if you all could just help me welcome Miss Ikisha. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so excited to have you.
I am happy to be here as well.
And so I was just telling everyone to be ready, to be inspired. And so if you could just talk to us about your journey. I know you're a best-selling author, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your book. If you could just talk to us about your journey from some challenges that you've experienced in childhood, and how you overcame that, as well as overcoming addiction as well.
Oh, okay. So wow. So yes, I am a best-selling author. I am published now on Amazon and through bookwire.com. So you guys may look me out. Um, Basically, this is how I got to here today. Um, Growing up, I didn't have the best of childhoods. Um, I was born to both parents who were struggling with a drug addiction themselves. I remember times being left in the house. With that being said, I was molested by both of my parents, biological parents. And we were bounced around while they figured their lives out. Um, that led me into being a youth who was very promiscuous, who act out a lot because I was treated differently, very passive aggressive type of abuse and behavior. I've also went through dealing with cousins who inappropriately touched me as well. So my life growing up as a child, we thought that that stuff was normal. Then you come out into the world and you find out that that stuff is not normal. And then you have more people that treat you like you're weird or that you're crazy. So I decided to sit myself down and figure out what made me the problem, why I started acting out and taking on the behaviors that I saw that I didn't like how I was treated. Growing up as a child, I didn't like how I was treating others, why I was always the problem, why I could never fit in. Um, then I found out that I just wasn't properly raised right. Doesn't mean that my parents were bad people because they're not. Like my mother today, we have a great, an amazing relationship. But that was all through God for us to even get to the point that we are today. So that requires me having to be an attentive, a different level of understanding and getting to where I'm at today, understanding what actually unconditional love is. So during my younger adulthood, I act out. I did do drugs. I did the most. I was actually wild. And that was me screaming out for help. So after my first failed marriage, I decided to sit down and work on myself. And I found out a lot of stuff about myself, good, horrible, bad. And I had to be away from people because I had to be able to see those things about myself, not constantly have people bombard me and tell me about me. So once I went through that whole journey of going through solitude and then trying to venture out and date again. And the level that I built my mind up to, my connection with people and the things that I was seeing was not matching up with the lifestyle that I wanted to have and that I also wanted for my children to have. So then you have to step back and you have to do some more work on self and then locate your tribe. So, I done had conversations where I have failed out with family. A lot of family don't deal with me. They consider me to be a little difficult. But sometimes you have to be difficult because you have to teach people how to treat you. You have to let people know what you're willing to deal with and what you're willing to put up with. And then you have to also be willing to stand in your truth. I've seen so many beautiful men and women fall to, I mean, literally fall, or they're no longer here because they didn't have the courage to stand up against family, to stand in their truth, and to make their lives better. So, I don't know where I get my strength from, but I had to find it so that I can be able to like tell my story and become the person who I am today and like truly walk in my purpose. So that was the whole point of me creating the My Journey Friends series, because I really want people to have something that I really didn't have growing up. And that's how to be a decent human being, how to respect each other, how to love each other, how to be
Mhm.
grateful, how to be prosperous, and show gratitude and cherish the things that we do have.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Ikisha, with us.
Yeah.
Um, it takes a lot of courage to look at yourself in the mirror and see that there's some change that needs to happen. And you did that. And you were even able to forgive those that have hurt you in the past. And that is huge. And
Right.
so I'm excited for you about that. And I hope that you inspire other people to do the same, because I know that isn't easy, but it is possible. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, did you find it challenging when it was time to take all of that experience but then put it on paper? Did you find yourself reliving old or hurtful feelings and experiences while writing your book?
With the children books, no, that's a little more easier to do. Um,
Hmm.
I have started already writing my life story. Um, that has been the hardest part. And I think what a lot of people don't know how to do, people don't know how to coexist with the person who hurt them. And I think Ayana Van Zandt, she did a whole series about learning how to love the people that hurt you. So every day when I walk up out my house and I go spend time with my family, I remember. I don't remember out of hurt. I remember out of strength. How I've been able to move forward, still love, still be a present, still be a daughter, still be able to coexist despite how internally I may be feeling about the situation. So I actually see the bigger picture and I understand how different principalities work to pull families apart. And I continue to keep showing up every day.
Awesome. And why did you think it was important to start encouraging from a child standpoint with the children books? Did you feel like that was just the best way to make sure that, they don't potentially deal with some of the things that you've had to deal with, maybe as a teenager or a young adult?
Well, I mean, children are impressionate. So I would rather start with the children than to try to work with an adult that's most likely
Right.
already have their minds made up. I
Mhm.
really live by the concept that it takes a village and we are a village. So
Yeah.
why not help single mothers like ourselves teach our kids to have a little character. In my city, there has been so many murders with young men. You go to drug court like on a Tuesday, you see so many young boys in there. You see so many young girls don't know. if they want to be a boy or a girl. I mean, you have a lot going on with the youth, so why not put our hands on the youth properly and try to reach them first, because they are supposed to carry our nation.
Mhm. Awesome. So when did you first become passionate about mentorship?
Um, I think I was transitioning to it.
Hmm.
I didn't really see myself being a mentor because, at times still in my life, I still have my personal life. I'm rebuilding from 5 years ago.
Hmm.
And at moments, sometimes I don't feel like I have everything put together to actually be a mentor. I feel like, there's a saying that in the church they say, come as you are. So I'm just coming as I am and giving what I have because I have the capacity to do it. A lot of times people don't have the capacity to care about others, to address things that they see in others, because they're so drowned out with their personal life. So that's why we're here as a village, to help people who wants change, to want to have something different in their life, and to just basically give what we have, because an encouraging word, I'm telling you, it would go far for a lot of people.
That's awesome. Well, we thank you for the work that you're doing, because that is extremely incredible work and it's necessary. So thank you for that. And I would love for you to tell us more about your company, tell us more about IKEA.
Well, LLC, I first started out as selling cosmetic contacts. Um,
Hmm.
then I was doing a little bit of podcasting, which I ended up on Wisdom app. Just sharing my experiences, sharing my story, and I met some great people. Um, I no longer really push the contacts, but I do still have my website open, which is
Hmm.
IKEALLC386.com. So you can view it to see what contacts. I do have some shirts left. I do have some bath stuff as well. And I just really, when I went and did a camp with some children, I didn't like some of the things that I saw that the adults were doing around the children. Um, and it just really made me speak out about it, that we do live in a world where we have a lot of adults that really care more about the money than about the kids that we're bringing up, and that they were comfortable with having a certain type of environment for children to be in, because they were more worried about the dollar than about these kids that's being raised, in a gang infested community where there's murders, there's killings,
Hmm.
um, where there's you don't know what's going on. Um, so I decided to start writing my children book and moving more into going into the schools, meeting some of these kids, to eventually be able to do a program where there is some trustworthy adults there, that we would not put ourselves before these kids, because we're going to be a village and we care more so about the outcome of these kids' lives and if they become to be something, versus if our pockets are filled.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Again, it's so necessary. And like you stated earlier, our youth is the future. And so it's
Hmm.
important that we definitely invest in them. If you could tell us, for anyone who's watching, who's thinking about changing some things in their life, growing in certain areas of their life, how does someone start the journey of becoming a better version of themselves?
Woo, the first step is to admit that you have a problem. Whether you want to admit it to yourself or admit it to somebody who you trust, you have to admit that you have a problem. First, you have to get the proper help. Whether you're going go to a treatment center, a
Mhm.
therapist, but that's what you need to do. Then third, you need to figure out what made you the problem. What made you the problem and stand on that. And then fourth, you need to make amends. Anybody that you have hurt, you have harmed. Because whether we know it or not, subconsciously, a lot of the messed up things that we have done to people, that stuff plays over and over in our head because basically drugs, that's like it's a disease. And it attacks the mind and it make you not operate and do what's right, so when you come out of it, you're playing back um all the things that you have done wrong to people, and that within itself can take you back into the disease, and you might not be able to come back out of it the next time. And then after you make your amends and admit what's right, continue to do the next best thing. And that's learning to let go of poor and bad behaviors, stealing from people, lying on people, you know, just try to do what's best. Try to live your life accordingly to whatever faith or whatever belief system that you may possibly have. Because um, I'm not gonna lie to you, coming from that life to this life, I have my moments, but I work so hard to be a good person.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's awesome. And how important along this journey is community and the right support system?
One thing about our community is that we need accountability.
That's good.
And once the community gets accountability, that's the best support system you ever have. If your
Mhm.
community, the one thing I learned about people is that we live with a system of expectations. And we have that really bad with especially with our generation, is that we have expectations. And I don't see how, as a community, you can have expectations of anything when you're constantly lying to yourself. So, as a community, once we learn how to stop lying to ourselves and we're more accountable for our actions, then yes, we can be a better support system. But there's no way that you could be a support system for me, and you know that I'm hurting myself, but you're lying to yourself to not see what's there to see.
Mhm.
Especially if you could tell when somebody is doing drugs, but I'm gonna lie to myself and say that you're not doing drugs just so that I can be in your life. You know, that's not the right way to go. We wasn't taught properly, and we need more people to stand up that's willing to point things out. Because if you know, you know. And at that point, you can't play blind or you can't play dumb to the situation. You have to do what's right if that's what you choose.
That's awesome. And so, what I hear you saying, Akisha, is that we have to start with honesty and being honest with ourselves first.
Exactly.
Because if we don't display what's really happening, how can we expect to get healing for the actual issue? So, that was wonderful. Um, thank you so much. And Dr. Tina says, thank you for being brave enough to share your story.
Oh, no problem. Tell her thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so we have her here on the screen, so I wanted to share her comment with you. So thank you, Dr. Tina, for your feedback. So people are enjoying your testimony. They're enjoying just you being so open and honest with us. So thank you so much for that. And we do want to know, like, how can we begin to make a difference today, right? Like each of us, what is one thing that we can do as we leave today's segment to make a difference in someone's life and helping them just push forward and becoming that better version of themselves?
um, I always say God bless or you are loved. A lot of times people need to know that they are loved. We don't know the silent battles that a lot of people face. That's why when I come into people's lives, I never come in to bombard in your space and tell you what you need to be and what you need to do. Because who wants to hear that when you already have to deal with the regular, like with this world that puts so much on you? So
Right.
just basically telling somebody you are loved, or giving a person a hug, that go a very long way. You can start there. Just kindness.
I love it. I love it. So kindness, everyone, that doesn't cost us anything to be kind to
It
one
does.
another. Absolutely. We love it. Ikisha, how can we get our hands on your books and stay in touch with you as well?
Okay, so like I said, I am published on Amazon. My website is myjourneyfriends.com. You can take a look at some of the things that I have done in my gallery, and you can also purchase my books from there. I am also on bookwire.com. So if you have a bookstore anywhere and you just want to purchase my book, you can put it in your store, you can put it in your libraries, and just write me at myjourneyfriends.com. If you want me to come out, do an event, speaking engagement, anything like that, I will respond.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We love the feedback and the engagement, so thank you all. And Aikisha, thank you so much for being our guest today on What's Going On. And we are just so proud of the work that you're doing. So continue to change all the lives that you have been and more. So thank you so much for being here with us.
All right. Thank you as well. You guys have a great day.
Take care, everyone.